never saw that before.
It's amazing.
I guess we have a theme song.
Yeah, it's
all
very...
right.
Knight Rider.
It's fine. Yeah, it's like a cartoony type of, I don't know.
Love it.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, welcome to RedditUp, the show all about Reddit.
Pretty much. Yeah, we were trying to think of what our like clever tagline is.
No.
It'll come to us.
Eventually.
But for now, you know, it's funny. I was talking
organic.
to a friend of mine the other day, and she says, you want to get a drink after work? And I'm like, wish I could, but I'm doing a new show, so I'm not going to have time during happy hour.
Yeah.
She said, what's it about? And I said, all the crazy-ish that happens on Reddit every day. And she's like, does that happen on Reddit every day? And I'm like, clearly you're not hanging out in the right places on the internet, because the answer is yes.
Yeah, absolutely. There's plenty to cover. So I guess let's just do a general summary of what we hope the show will be.
Yeah.
We're going to cover a lot of things that you would expect to find and just have a discussion about things that everyone finds on Reddit, like AMAs, the Ask Reddit subreddit.
Well, I think that's the beauty, as someone says, well, I sort of know Reddit for the AMAs, which is the Ask Me Anything, and we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. Or those crazy animated GIFs that get, you know, a lot of those start on Reddit and then they get populated around the internet. But it's a lot of different things. Subreddits can be very specific about an entire topic that nobody else on Reddit is reading or even knows about, and so there's a little bit of fun discovery that we're hoping to bring you as well. In general, it's just a great community of a lot of different kinds of people, and why not have a show that celebrates
where we talk about it.
Yeah.
We just have a discussion about it. So,
yeah.
Absolutely. So that's the general idea.
So what do you say? Should we just get into
let's just jump right into it.
Some of the hot news.
The hot news. This is the big stuff.
Everything behind us is red, so it's like everything's kind of like, I love sort of like the flame theme or something.
It's like we're going to burn this place down.
That's right.
With news.
As somebody said in chat, it's a show about nothing.
Basically,
you could call it that.
That.
I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
That would be fine. It's whatever you make it.
Yeah.
Like Reddit itself.
Exactly.
So, all right. So let's talk about this 14-year-old girl who happens to be Dutch, who lives in the Netherlands, who tweeted a threat to American Airlines. Did you see that tweet? I didn't see the original one, but I saw it retweeted.
I saw this all basically in history and everyone talking about it later. So it didn't go over as well as I think she hoped.
No, she had, you know, I'm paraphrasing here because we don't have the actual tweet up, but it was something like, I am a terrorist, I'm from Afghanistan, I'm going to do something terrible to your airline. Right. American Airlines tweets back, hey, her name was Sarah. I remember that part. Hey, Sarah, we take these threats very responsibly, and we will be alerting the authorities to your IP address. Right. Sarah, she lives in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, clearly doesn't really know what that means. No. So she's like, please don't take my IP address.
Exactly. She tweets back, America, it was just a joke. It was a friend, not me. Take her IP address, not mine.
Right, yeah. Like they're gonna remove, you know, her jewelry collection. You know, they've got my IP address.
And how many times can you deny it in that one tweet? It was I was only joking. It was my friend, not me.
Right.
It's like, wait, didn't you just say you were joking? Like,
exactly.
Not your friend? Wait, I'm confused.
She made a terrible mistake and backtracked. And you know, I saw this happening, and it's you get like once a week, twice a week, there are these incidents that happen on social media gaffes, where somebody makes a terrible mistake, and everyone goes, "Oh, you should have known better." Well, she got arrested.
Yeah.
I mean, the police.
She is in jail.
Did not think it was funny. No. And I mean, she clearly couldn't talk her way out of it. No. She went to jail.
She did try to block the FBI on Twitter. It didn't work so well. She thought, if I just block this Twitter account, they won't get won't steal my IP address.
I will get my IP address back.
Yeah.
And they won't find my home.
I'm going to take my IP address, put it in their shoebox, and no one will find it.
This was submitted to Reddit by Devon1405. One of the comments that was pretty good was from Shamakazi. I'm going to do my best to pronounce all of these names right, but you know, they're usernames. Being a terrorist, hashtag just girly things.
Just
YOLO. That was kind of her whole point, was like, I'm just a girl.
Just a girl.
Just a girl in the world,
just
saying
stuff.
I'm not from Afghanistan.
Oh my gosh.
Can't do that. Can't do it.
No. I love
now you know.
I'm not going to tell my parents. They'll tell me to delete my account, and it'll be the end of my life. Like,
right.
Right.
Actually, I think being in jail is a lot worse.
I think so.
And I think Sarah from Rotterdam probably agrees with us by now.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oops, I just downvoted that. Let's upvote that. Yeah. So, I guess moving on.
What do you think about the whole dolphin communication movement?
Blew my mind.
Okay, so explain it to me, because sometimes science stories make my brain hurt.
No, okay, so the title of this article is Two-Way Communications with Dolphins Begins with Sargasm.
Okay.
And at first I was like, is that like some
Sarcasm?
dolphin? Yeah, some dolphin form of sarcasm?
Right.
Like, what is this? So for 26 years, there's been, and they mention in the article, the longest running study of its kind. They have been listening to dolphin sounds and using computers to find out patterns in dolphin talk. And they're trying to basically build a library of ways that we can understand dolphins.
Okay. So here's a sound that you can make, and a dolphin would be like, you said the color green.
Right. And they're doing a few different types of things. They're doing like mimicking, where they will give the dolphins sounds, and I think they're kind of trying to teach the dolphins, like, when we do this sound, I think, that this is this item.
Right.
And the dolphins will pick it up and learn faster than we can kind of pattern recognize what their language is.
Okay.
But once you and they've made a breakthrough that they think they understood that the dolphin was talking about sargasm. And sargasm is apparently a weed that grows in the ocean, and it's something that dolphins like to play with, and it's kind of like a thing that's part of dolphin life. So there's an image of a dolphin with the sargasm.
Do they eat the weed, or they just play with it?
Play with it. They're saying they play with it.
It's like their little walking stick.
Yeah, it's like a bouncy. It's like Legos.
It's dolphin Legos.
Yeah.
Sargasm. Cool.
So this opens up all sorts of They're talking to SETI at home, SETI and the whole project of trying to figure out extraterrestrial life, and if we can decode messages from space, and if we can't figure out dolphin speak, how on earth are we going to figure out what communication from space is? And so this could
and dolphins they're highly intelligent,
right?
That scientists for years have known that dolphins are attempting to communicate,
right,
because you start hearing these patterns over and over, but it's just almost impossible to decipher.
Right. And they were saying that it's absolutely language. We just can't understand it.
Yeah.
We can tell that there is patterns going on, and there's syntax, and this squeak never comes before this squeak. So it's obviously like a sentence structure. I think. But it's like there's definitely language going on, was what they concluded. We just don't know what it is yet. And figuring that out. And they were saying we probably will never be able to translate it. Like, translate probably isn't the word that you should put on this. Because it's never going to be like we can take in their squeaks and output English, like a babelfish or anything like that. But this is a step towards understanding maybe what they're talking about, how the structure works. It probably won't be English in the end, but this is a huge step for
it's concepts.
Right. It's kind of like how most of science is. You first hear about it and you're like, this is amazing. We're all going to have cyber brains. And it's like, oh no, that's just helping. Oh, that's just a small.
It's a
never
step
mind.
Further.
Right.
I mean, when I swim with the dolphins, I want to say cool things, and I want them to think that I'm smart and funny.
I'm going to give you a fish now.
Yeah. Sargasm, dude.
Sargasm.
I love it too.
It's time for sargasm.
That was submitted on Reddit by Massive Meat. The next story submitted by SP Sheridan. This is kind of frightening. U.S. Navy apparently has a new electromagnetic railgun that can hurl a shell over 5,000 miles per hour.
Right.
And 5,000
miles per hour.
Now, how fast is the fastest jet fly?
I don't know.
Not 5,000 miles per hour.
My favorite part of this was
no, because 3,000 miles would be to New York from San Francisco, and I'm not doing that in
an hour.
Right.
That's so amazing. I don't. It's hard to comprehend. And they were talking about in the comments like, how, can you put this in English speak? Because
somebody was like, can you convert that into an amount that I can comprehend by using a familiar comparison?
Right.
Then somebody answered, it's approximately equivalent to the kinetic energy of a loaded B-double semi-trailer traveling at 120 kilometers per hour. You see, that doesn't help me.
Well, 75 miles per hour. So like a loaded semi with two.
Well, no, it was the kinetic energy of a B semi-double trailer thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but all packed within like a few inches of a projectile. By the way, if you go and check out this article, this video doesn't have sound.
Okay.
And that threw me off for like 15 minutes as I tried to troubleshoot why the YouTube player wasn't giving me sound.
Oh, you just didn't.
I had no idea. It totally threw me off.
See, that's. I have the opposite problem where I open a tab and then I like switch to another tab and then I'm like, it's like.
yeah. Some pre-roll starts to play. And you're like, ah!
So no sound, but cool nonetheless.
Cool nonetheless. And
cool and scary.
Yeah, my favorite part is where you see the projectile and it looks like the Matrix, where you can see wind being ripped apart by the projectile, and there's this sort of flow of air around it. It's just fascinating, that railgun technology. And then, like, part of it is like, well, don't you want this to explode? Or are you really just going to shove a rod of iron into a car? Like, is that really your? Is that the?
Well, I think the speed, is directly factors into the force.
I guess, yeah.
Something that you're trying to blow up from afar.
Yeah.
Say.
So I hope this helps with some sort of penetrating into walls.
Get the bad guys out of there, man.
Yeah, exactly. USA.
Go Navy.
USA.
Woo. Woo. Speaking of USA, NASA is going to conduct a unprecedented twin experiment. This was submitted by Rubicon with an H in there somewhere. Okay, so this is crazy. Twin brothers. One brother will spend a year circling the Earth.
In the ISS.
Right. The other twin is going to remain behind as the control part of the experiment, to explore the effects of long-term spaceflight on the human body. So, I assume they're identical twins.
Right.
And, the story is, what are the long-term effects on being in space, even for a short period of time, but as we as humans experiment more and more with sustained time on, space station or that sort of thing in orbit.
Right.
What happens to you?
Right.
We know while you're there, gravity's weird. You might have some intestinal problems, this or that. Sleeping might be difficult. But what's going to happen to you in 50 years? And how do you really know how to examine the effects unless you have two of you?
Right. It's like this is another one of those science things that it's just like, I guess the only way to really test this is to get two people who are basically identical in terms of genetics. And they found two people. One brother is going to go into space for a year. It'd kind of be a bummer to be the other brother. And it's like, hey, your job is to stay here.
See, as somebody who hates space, I would
You hate space?
Okay. Let me clarify this. I do not like the idea of going into space. I fear it.
Got it.
I saw gravity, and I don't need that to happen to me.
Right.
Just no.
Right.
I feel the same way about the deep sea. It's
Is
like
it claustrophobic?
Yes,
yeah.
that's part of it.
Right.
I'm far away from the ground that I feel okay on.
Yeah.
So I would like to be I would volunteer myself graciously to be the brother that's like, I will
stay
hang,
on Earth.
I will, eat good food, hang out with my friends. You have a wonderful time up there because I know how I'm going to age. Right. And it might be worse for you, but I know that I'm okay. Unless I get cancer or something like that.
Exactly. Some of the things that they're testing out are changes for the human immune system. So they're going to give both brothers the same flu vaccine and see the effects of that exact same vaccine to see if the human immune system reacts differently. They're going to look at the, I forget how to say this, the telomeres, I think, which is the part of the DNA on your DNA structure that's kind of at the end. And when you age, they kind of fall off over time. And so they're going to see if that's accelerated by staying in space because of the cosmic radiation, the cosmic rays. the microbes in your human gut to see if anything like that changes. Your vision has been said to change when you're in space, so they're going to test that out. And space fog, which is space fog, of course, which is like brain cognizance. They say that it kind of slows down and people don't seem as alert.
That's like happy hour.
Right, exactly. Exactly. It's space.
That's what I'm going to go. I'm not hungover. It's
I just have space fog.
You know, we're in space right now.
That's why I said space fog twice. It's like space fog. Everyone knows what space fog is, right? I mean, we got space fog. We're going to test out that stuff. We're going to find out what space fog is.
All right, let's move on to, this is kind of fun. Glow-in-the-dark roads. We're going back to the Netherlands for this story. We've got teens in jail. You don't tweet about being a terrorist. Now we've got glow-in-the-dark roads.
They got it all.
That, you know, there's no video of this.
There is.
Oh, there is?
There is. So in the comments, the comments, they mentioned that another article has, here, let me grab it, video, and the first article had concept photos of like the stripes were going to be painted and that sort of thing. And so it just shows it on the side of the road. So you can see, here, let me find it. They're driving, and they've already painted a strip with it on the shoulders.
Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't that neat? And so throughout the day, they charge up, and then I assume that it also helps when the headlights hit them as well to get a little bit more.
Well, but at the same time, I mean, the reflective nature of some road markings are somewhat helpful, but they're less so in, like the headlights of other people can throw it off.
Right.
You don't really have too much of a head start as far as what's illuminated when you're driving. Right. Weather can change as well. So I would think this, it looks like Tron, but it's also a safety measure.
I know. It looks totally like Tron. I like the idea of, there's many times on longer roads that kind of go into nowhere, you don't have the overhead lights, and so seeing further than your lights can throw, than your headlights can throw, seems super helpful. And this concept image seems to do just that, is that you can get an idea of where that road is heading, even though your headlamps might not go that far.
Yeah, it's a better way to, if they can figure out how power consumption can be manageable.
Right.
I love it. I can't wait for my own glow-in-the-dark road. Oh.
Because it's just glow-in-the-dark stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. You paint it once.
It's a rave for your road.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, then we should all have them, and there's no excuse.
Right. Exactly.
Come on, America.
I want to drive on Tron roads.
Yeah.
Please.
Give me a Tron road. Give me a Tron road. Okay. So that's it's fair enough of news, hopefully.
Yes, that's what people talked about on Reddit the past week.
Helvetica sucks, by the way. Helvetica doesn't suck. Helvetica sucks the user who was the one who submitted that glow-in-the-dark Netherlands story, by the way. By the way, F topography. No, yeah.
By the way, Ariel is the worst, am I right?
Helvetica, you blow. So I think that we are going to try to pepper the show with some videos. Videos being a big part of what shared on Reddit. First video break that we're taking was submitted by Mr. Von Buren. And, should we just watch it?
Yeah, let's just watch it. Wait for it. That bird is speaking Japanese.
阿部タン、ちょっと早い。
That human is
ちゃんと
also speaking Japanese.
ちゃんとね、電話がね、かかってきたら、もしもしするんだよ。はい、わかりました。本当にわかった？頼みますよ。あ、もしもし、岐阜の大野ですけど、だよ。はい、わかりました。はい。
Now, the Mr. Von Buren submitted this to Reddit with the title, "For some reason, a bird speaking Japanese is mildly off-putting."
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say that. I think I've never seen anything quite like that. My favorite, I guess.
Yeah, my favorite thing is in the comments below. They start translating it, And, one person does one translation, and the next person kind of corrects them, and at the very end, edit, I can't believe I'm translating birds Japanese. That's my favorite comment.
But apparently, I think the rough translation is that, because you can hear the owner, the female voice, the non-bird voice, if you can even tell the difference, who's sort of coaxing the bird to, if someone calls, here's how you would politely answer the phone.
Right.
Hi, this is the Ono residence, bird speaking, or whatever.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not put off by this.
Well, this got me...
This is a huge turn on.
Japanese
speaking bird.
If you have one at your house, give me a call.
Exactly.
This I didn't know, but there's a whole sub-community of people who teach their birds to cuss. And that was in the comments, and I spent literally like 15 minutes watching birds cuss, and it was hilarious.
That's not very long.
It was very funny.
I feel like you could waste a lot more time.
I could have done more.
Really
I had to prepare for the show.
I used to have a bird growing up, and I never even thought about it. All I wanted it to do was whistle baseball songs.
Or answer hello. You're like, come on, I'm a simple person.
Yeah,
simple lady with simple needs.
He didn't. He
never
wasn't. Too bad. Missed opportunity. Oh, Mom would have loved that.
Yeah.
Yeah, little squeakers saying, well, you can use your imagination.
Right.
So that's our first video. There'll be more video later in the show. And this is the part of the show where we would have a commercial break.
Right. So this part of the show is brought to you by Karsten's Brain.
That's correct.
It helped make this show.
He wears a bow tie, and he has a big brain.
Yep.
That's how you know it's
him.
him.
He helped put the show together. So thanks, Karsten.
Yeah.
We have another ad break coming up later where we'll thank another
and that's the end of ad 1. Okay, so this is so this was.
So now we're gonna get a little meta.
We're gonna get a little meta.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Reddit news.
Yes.
Like Reddit news. We talked about stuff that was popular on Reddit.
That's upvoted.
Right.
Because that's the way Reddit works essentially at its core.
Right.
But sometimes Reddit, the service
does stuff.
They do new stuff. So what's the deal?
So trending subreddits. So one of the things that's always been great is there's actually a Reddit. There's a subreddit called. I think it's called like subreddits. But anyway, I used to go there all the time, and it would have weird subreddits that no one's ever heard of, but that have communities around them. Now Reddit has kind of built that in to just the normal Reddit. So if you go to your front page, right above where your normal stories are, you'll see trending subreddits right here, and this didn't exist before. So this is it gives you a good idea of who's, what's hot in these discussions. Right, and it's kind of a nice way to discover new communities. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of, because it reminds me of hashtags on Twitter, but normally hashtags are kind of like about something a little bit you could throw it away. It's like it's going to be hot for a little while, but then it's kind of gone.
Right.
And sure, it's a community kind of built around the hashtag, but that hashtag is kind of expected to die off in a few days, especially if it's something like PAX East or something about news. But this, to me, seems a little different because normally subreddits are communities that last for much, much longer. So I wonder what the algorithm is to not have the same most popular subreddits up all the time.
Well, I think it's it's trajectory, right?
Right, I guess.
So that would be the difference between. I'm dating myself. In the delicious days, it was stories, links that people are clicking on, like most clicked on links or most clicked on links recently, where it's gaining steam.
Right.
I would assume that the trending up nature of the subreddits would be how they determine. Now, okay, so I decided to just check out some of the trending subreddits today.
Yeah.
And there's stuff like /tech. Like that's a trending subreddit. It's very popular. There's thousands of members in there. Or high quality GIFs.
Tales from Tech Support is one that I've known about forever.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. That's hilarious. That's one that I've known a lot.
Now a subreddit that I was not familiar with.
Yeah, same. Caught me off guard.
Before today is one called Screaming Fish. And now you might say, I couldn't imagine what that's like. But in fact, it's all fish that are screaming, or at least appear to be screaming. Ooh. And what's nice is that when you submit, you also submit the way that you think that it's probably screaming.
Yeah,
you know,
so I guess this would be
more of a wow.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't. Yeah. My favorite is this one that actually has sound.
Oh, good. Oh,
and we're done.
I watched that a few times. I even sent it to some friends because, of course, this is what Reddit is so good for. My friend I mentioned at the beginning of the show that said, do crazy things happen on Reddit? And I was like, look at this video. And she was like, I just don't have time for this.
Yeah.
I'm working, Sarah. And that's why she's not a very good friend.
Yeah.
But Screaming Fish. It's a whole subreddit. It's trending. Get in there. Be part of the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that the trending subreddits exist. So if not, only for Screaming Fish.
Absolutely. Good stuff. All right, so let's move on to AMAs. Chad, for somebody who might be unfamiliar with Reddit vernacular, what's an AMA?
An AMA stands for Ask Me Anything. Mm-hmm. And this has been a staple of Reddit from very early on. So the idea is that you would go to and then it kind of became IAMA, which is, I am something, ask me anything.
Okay. So you see both sometimes.
Yeah, you see both.
AMA and IAMA, the same thing.
Exactly. I believe there is a difference, but I can't remember what it is currently.
Okay.
This week we had James Cameron who came and he's like, basically, I'm James Cameron, ask me anything. And then people can submit questions and they answer in the Reddit style. And of course you get the best ones that float to the top. There are sometimes AMAs that are ask me almost anything. So you'll see AMAA,
okay,
which is like, there's some stuff I don't want to talk about, or if for lots of businesses will do that sort of thing.
Sure. Like there's sensitive information that we're not just going to tell you
right.
because you ask nicely.
Right, exactly.
But and you see and hear that anybody could do an AMA.
Right.
You're allowed to.
Right.
I did one once.
Right.
That was, it's actually pretty fun. It's a lot of work. But often a celebrity will be promoting something.
Right.
So they've got at least some sort of a savvy.
It's almost like coming onto a talk show
or something. Yeah, where you say,
where you're like, hey, I'm doing this movie, and but also I'm doing an AMA.
Yeah, because you get a lot of attention on Reddit for an AMA, especially if you're a celebrity that might not be associated with geek culture or hanging out on the internet a lot type thing.
Right.
So, all right, let's start off with you mentioned James Cameron. That was a big AMA this week. And he was pretty forthcoming about a lot of stuff. And I think what we're going to try to do here on RedditUp is, we can't go through an entire AMA because this is like thousands of people submitting questions and James Cameron answering quite a few of them. But we can highlight some of the highlights, really, of the AMA, which is usually like a couple hours in duration, I would say, as an average, that someone like James Cameron's going to sit down and refresh the page and answer questions from people. One of the questions was, hey James, thanks for stopping by. I've been wondering where the idea to always have a character yell go, go, go in your movies came from. Did it start as a conscious thing, or did you notice it later and just continue on? And he has a kind of a fun reaction where he says, oh, it might just be the way I talk. I don't know. But then he goes on to say, it's people do that in the military.
Right.
If you're giving someone a command and you get interrupted, well, then they know maybe that you're not meaning it if you say it 3 times, and that's a direct command.
Right.
And then he says, I actually just wrote this exact thing in a script that I'm working on, and now I'm going to take it out because now the element of surprise is gone. Right. Because you guys are expecting it from me.
He says no one wants to be predictable.
Yeah.
That was like a little bit of shame.
And then somebody else says to the guy, you just wrote a Hollywood script.
Yes, I know.
You just had a direct influence on the actual Hollywood script that's being worked on.
Yeah.
Because, it's James Cameron. I'm sure it's going to get pushed through whatever project he might be working on right now. Probably not going to have a hard time bringing that to the big screen.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Well, another Continuum guy asked Mr. Cameron, a Na'vi, the Alien Queen, and the T-800 Terminator get in a fight. Who wins? And he responds with, is the T-800 armed or not armed? Because an armed T-800 with a plasma rifle will clean house. And then he goes on to
explain.
To explain. And then now a Na'vi riding on a Leonthrophix or a Na'vi riding on a Tyrannosaur, that would be a different story. It's just like, I'm glad he really thought about these answers.
So it's all about the plasma rifle. Thanks, James.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that. Now I do. See, you learn a lot with these
people
AMAs.
asking the questions, really, I mean, be a little bit more specific in your questions. Armed, not armed, I mean, helps him answer his question.
I want to give you the right answer, the specific answer. We also had a Harrison Ford AMA. Harrison Ford, geek god to many people.
Yep.
You know, it's
Han Solo.
Indiana Jones. I mean, I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark 30 times a week as a child.
Right.
He's, you know, I don't care how much of a curmudgeon he is in his advancing age, he will always be a hero to me. So if someone said Harrison Ford's doing a Reddit AMA, I would say, ugh, that's going to be one of those ones that like falls flat and he gets mad and leaves early and it's just going to suck.
You think a lot about Harrison Ford.
Well, I feel like I actually interviewed him once many years ago and he wasn't into it.
Yeah.
So I remember that. But no, he sort of famously is like, ugh, Hollywood. But he was the opposite of a curmudgeon. He was really forthcoming. He had a lot of great answers. And he even kind of played to the crowd. I mean, at one point, someone says, I love you.
And he responds,
I know.
It's so great. So great.
And he knows that, and he's probably rolling his eyes as he's typing that out.
He's like, God.
But he's like, just give the people what they want. Play Freebird, Harrison Ford. Just do it. That's all we want. It's good stuff.
But you get it all out at once. It's almost like broadcasting a convention. It's like, I'm gonna go to this convention. I'm gonna get asked, I love you.
It's like being at a convention.
It totally is.
In fact, celebrities take note. If you don't really like conventions because you're a germaphobe or whatever, you don't like signing things, the AMA is the place to do it. Because everybody is just gonna go hog wild when you play into some of the fun questions. How do you feel about snakes? Again, I mentioned Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones doesn't like him.
Yeah, he says, I actually like snakes. When I was young and a Boy Scout nature camp counselor, one of our projects was collecting snakes and creating an environment for them. So I'm quite familiar with snakes and how they're fantastic creatures.
All right.
And someone asks, what about Nazis?
And then,
he didn't answer that one.
And then another person, actually, the next person subbed every time his answer said snakes.
I actually really liked Nazis. When I was young and a Boy Scout and Nature counselor, one of our projects was collecting Nazis and creating an environment for them. So I'm quite familiar with Nazis and how they're fantastic creatures.
Still works. Still works.
Good one.
Reddit.
Very good.
Gotta love you.
Very good.
There is also when an AMA either does well or does not do well, there are sometimes Reddit responses that get spun out of that into their own thing.
Yeah. For
example, Harrison Ford AMA went over pretty well. People were like, he's awesome. This was so fun. So a reaction Reddit post to how Harrison Ford did on his AMA yesterday was
the GIF.
It was just perfect. There you go. I guess RedditUp is turning into one of those shows that is probably a lot less fun when you're listening to the audio version.
Yeah, I'm gonna say,
because we could describe this GIF to you. I realize Chad pronounces it GIF and I say GIF, so we'll just have to agree to disagree.
I don't know.
No, it's fine. I don't even really know who's right. I just can't change my ways. But yeah, it's Indiana Jones. It's a great little scene. He's shooting the Reddit guy.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
The Reddit guy pulls out a sword to attack, and he just shoots him in the face.
Right? Yeah, it's not fun. Explaining a GIF is not. It makes it way less cool.
No,
you just gotta watch.
No,
you just gotta watch.
No.
Also, good guy Harrison Ford. This is another reaction. It's not an animated GIF, just a GIF.
Say, I know. He says it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, it's just you just got it.
It's just different when you see it in the advice animals sort of style of meme.
Now it's
confirms our beliefs.
It's not just celebrities or authors or people of note who participate in Ask Me Anything. Sometimes it's just randos, like the 3 bowling alley employees who decided, you know what, we're going to have an Ask Me Anything. It was titled, We're 3 Bowling Alley Employees. We will answer anything from work today.
Woo! We're 2 guys and a grill with a lot of time to kill. Working as part-time employees, it's usually pretty chill.
One of the popular questions, one that I've always had because I don't bowl that frequently, but when I do, I wonder about who was wearing the shoes before me. So the question was, how do you clean the rental bowling shoes?
We don't.
We don't, was their answer. By the way, Yo Mama Incorporated apparently is one of these 3 employees who started the AMA. So there's your answer, at least at this bowling alley. There's no shoe cleaning. That's not what bowling's about. Cleanliness, it doesn't get you a higher score.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And you have to rent those shoes, right?
No, you can if you're like on a bowling league or something, you would have your own shoes.
You bring your own shoes?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Golly.
It's like spinners, in spinning class. You've got the cool, that you clamp in with your shoes.
Spinners?
It's a bicycle. It's spinning. It's a form of exercise. You wouldn't know about it.
Okay. Oh, yes, those. Okay, yes,
There's another question. Have you ever tried smuggling a bowling ball home? That was the question, to which they answered...
yeah, we did. We tried it once.
What did they say?
He says, we tried it once. It was a 2-man operation. I was doing the distract while guy 2 stole one. He had a big hoodie on, so he could hide it from the manager 10 yards away from the door, and freedom! He got caught. When asked if he had something under his sweater, he said he was pregnant. It didn't work out so hot.
Oh, bummer. This is sort of like, I don't know how old these bowling...
Did he get fired?
These bowling alley
we got a chill boss.
Yeah. Boss was like, put that back. You're not pregnant.
It's like, can you put that back and just go on Reddit and do an AMA,
leave
please?
the ball in the alley. See you tomorrow. Please don't be late.
Yeah.
It's funny. I used to work at a grocery store back in high school. I don't know how old these people are, but whatever. And people always used to get fired for stealing beer out of the back of the cooler because the trucks load all the beer in from the back. They're not going through the store.
And you also
so if you work in the back, then you're like, and I never did it because I knew that you would get.
Because you're good. You're a good person.
I didn't want to get fired. It was my job. I needed that money to buy beer. But yeah, it was. This sounds like a more chill place than the grocery store.
Yeah, and the highest upvoted AMA this week was Peter Dinklage. Dinklage, sorry, Dinkle.
Do you not watch Game of Thrones?
I watched the first few episodes.
Okay, that's another conversation.
Yeah.
Where I scream at you.
Dinkle.
Dinklage.
I think his name would do pretty well.
Peter Dinklage. It's sure. Yeah. I mean, Dinklage is kind of you were so close.
Right.
You were very close.
Right.
Peter Dinklage, who plays Tyrion Lannister on Game of Thrones. No spoilers. Don't worry about it. It was, the most upvoted story of the week, which is saying quite a lot, considering we've got Harrison Ford and there he is.
There he is, just if you need to know what he looks like.
So one of the things that he is sort of known for is his lustrous hair. It has a lot of body. You're a hair guy as well. Have you ever thought, hey, Peter Dinklage just has
Peter Dinkle, what do you do?
Has amazing volume. How does he do it?
I have thought that many times as I'm pondering how to say his last name.
Well, one other person, Redditor, said, Peter, I love your hair. What's the secret? Do you use a specific product? And Dinklage's answer was, it's called not owning a brush or a comb. That's my secret. Just don't buy a comb.
Yeah. People complained because they already bought a comb. So.
Yeah. Too bad.
And then a lot of people have been asking for beers. But the first one I saw was from a guy in Chicago named Tree Hugger. It was a while ago and impossible to find, but sure, Tree Hugger. I'll look for you under the trees.
So the weird thing about Peter Dinklage's AMA is that a lot of his responses are not in response to anything. So
right.
I don't know what that means that he said.
Yeah.
That was Peter Dinklage talking about people asking for beers. So... sometimes an AMA is not entirely clear to me. But again, that's probably in direct reference to something that he's done in another movie.
Right.
Or a show. And, it's not a Game of Thrones reference as far as I know.
People just asking him for beer.
Oh, he just says people ask him for beer?
No, like someone in the Reddit.
Someone in the AMA asked him for a beer. He said, "Sure, I'll get you a beer."
Oh, okay.
It's like, I'll be a nice guy.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice guy.
He's a cool dude.
Peter
You know, it's funny. Little Peter Dinklage trivia is that he is not British.
What?
He's not. No, he's from New York.
It's like, this is how I felt
He's
when I
from
found
Brooklyn
out that
or maybe New Jersey, I think.
the guy who plays House.
Yep.
He's British and he has not an American accent.
Just some
at all.
crazy ass talent going on with these actors.
How is
The
this
first time I heard
possible?
him talk, he almost has a weird hybrid accent right now. I saw him on a talk show recently, and I think it's because probably he has to be in character so much for Game of Thrones, and obviously he's gotten that accent down pat. But yeah, he's from the tri-state area.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Upcoming AMAs include Tim O'Reilly, AOL's founder Steve Case. I can't get the names right.
See, this is before Chad's time. He's like, Steve Chase?
Steve-
Okay, whatever.
Steve Case, yeah,
I guess he was in
absolutely.
AOL back
Absolutely.
in the early days. Yep,
Betty
Steve Case.
Wahat. Betty White.
Golden Girl, that's going to be a good one.
Morgan Spurlock,
Yeah.
which is exciting. And of course, check the sidebar on the subreddit for the most up-to-date because they're always adding and removing and moving around people for stuff.
Okay, this is actually a part of the show that I think is going to be very beneficial to me because as much as I try to follow the ways of Reddit and the internet at large, I don't always know what everybody's talking about because the vernacular, the funny little sayings, that stuff is all, it's like a part-time job. So we thought that we'd have a little segment on the show once a week called Reddit 101. And it's a safe place for us to talk about stuff that you might have seen on Reddit.
No judging here.
No judging.
No.
If you don't know what it means, we're going to tell you, and it'll probably help you keep up a little bit more.
Right. So these are basic, absolute basic things.
Basic terms.
Right. Terms. So we're going to cover today TLDR.
Semicolon, DR. All caps.
All caps.
It has to be written a certain way, although I've
feels
seen
so
it.
weird
I've
to
seen it
explain.
written other ways.
Yeah. Sometimes you're
that's-
lazy and it's just TLDR.
The semicolon in the middle is key, though.
Right. So the idea behind this is what it stands for is too long, didn't read.
Right.
So if a long email comes in from a boss, it basically too long, didn't read it.
But you wouldn't say that to the boss necessarily.
No. Oh, well, I mean, you could if you want. I mean, probably not your boss. If a coworker under you sent some long complaint that you read the first line and you know that it's about those TPS reports and you just don't care, send it back to LDR.
Or this happens on Reddit all the time. Let's say somebody is responding in a thread, and it's like, it's like, hey guys, you actually got one little specific thing wrong, and let me explain it to you. And someone will reply TLDR, because it means that was too long, and I'm not going to read it. Too long, didn't read. But it's kind of almost become a thing where it's such a good way to. Let's say you're the author of something that's about to be very long, and you're like, I understand that some of you are not going to like this version. You'll see this in tech blogs all the time, where someone will say, so here's this really intricate reasoning behind Facebook's new ad strategy, but the TLDR version is Facebook just bought a mobile ad company for $500 million.
Exactly. And so people will put it in their posts that they'll explain something that's going to be a few paragraphs long. TLDR at the bottom, summary of the whole post.
So it can be a snarky response or a nice way to give somebody a little quick synopsis of what you're about to say in a very lengthy way.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving straight onto that, we're going to go ahead and cover the meme of the week, which is TLDR Wikipedia.
What does that mean?
So,
because Wikipedia is somewhat long-winded. Well, depending on the entry, but it's all about the more information, the better.
It's the longest, absolutely. So instead of reading a whole article about Greece, you can just, Greece, it's the Europeans' Detroit.
Greece is Europe's Detroit. I see. This is a tongue-in-cheek TLDR.
Wikipedia. Obsessive-compulsive disorder. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, or O.C.D, is getting really upset that there is no period after the D in the first part of the sentence.
Good one.
The Sphinx is a mystical creature. Mythical creature with the head of limestone, a body of limestone, and wings of limestone. TLDR Wikipedia.
I don't even feel like that's TLDR. That's all I need to know.
That is all you need to know.
That's great. Sphinx.
Yeah.
Good. Got it.
I kind of wish that it would link back to the Sphinx article so you could just see how long this actual Sphinx is.
This looks like it's a Tumblr blog.
It's
TLDR.
It's totally a Tumblr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I think this is hysterical. What's a cello?
Cello. It's one half of the popular musical duo Yo Mama. Yo Mama.
Oh my God, Yo Ma, Chad. I don't think you can be responsible for reading anything on the show.
No, I really don't think I can.
I think that we're gonna have to flip.
Can we take this away from me? Yes.
Yo Ma is a famous cellist. That's why it's funny. Anyway, that was good. Meme of the week, everybody.
Dyslexia.
TLDR Wikipedia.tumblr.com. Please peruse it. It is funny. All right, let's take our second video break. This is a GIF again, submitted by Aaron Alsop, who says, my friend asked me to walk down the stairs while he filmed me, and it was the best decision I made all month. Now, I was like, what is it?
Like, what is this talking about? Yeah,
what's going to happen? No, it's
I agree.
cooler than that.
The best thing he did all month. You can kind of see it right.
Can we see
there.
We
we go.
Yeah. So this is just him.
I like how when he was given the command to walk down a set of stairs, that he walked down in this fashion.
He was like, I know you're going to do something silly. It's somewhat mesmerizing, isn't it? Because it's the same video over and over.
Yeah.
So it's just superimposed to however many times it takes to make it look like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many of him, because the light doesn't change, the carpet doesn't change, the stairs don't move.
It's so mesmerizing because really it's just, if you just focus on one of the little people walking, it's just him.
It's just him.
It's just him walking. But there's
why
six.
Why is it so good?
Why is it so mesmerizing?
It's because he's flapping his arms, and depending on where he is on the stairs, they're at different positions. So it really, for a moment, looks like there's 6 of him.
Where is it? Some college, it looks like.
Says coworker, or friend. Says friend.
Yeah.
It's at a college or an office building, maybe a library. That'd be kind of fun.
Possibly.
If anybody knows where it is, please let us know, because we don't.
Yeah, we obviously don't.
All right, now is the part of the show where we would have commercial numero dos. We don't, so I would say that this show
is brought to you by Glenn Rubenstein.
Yay,
and his
Glenn
brain.
Rubenstein.
Thanks for Glenn for helping out with the show.
I also think it should be brought to you by Carson again, because I got this all ready for him, and there we go.
Oh, Karsten.
He's a real American, that Karsten.
Oh, man.
I said he wore a bow tie, but sometimes he wears a regular tie. Maybe that's why he wears bow ties.
Sometimes
because
he looks
ties
up into the sky
flap in the wind. It's like Carson's tie to the right, storm at night.
He's in America.
You can set your watch by it, Don't go out sailing tonight. Carson's tie went to the left.
That's great.
All right, subreddit of the week. We mentioned earlier in the show that there just are subreddits that are trending, and that's something that Reddit is going to provide as a service, which is pretty cool. But this is actually something that we're going to feature every week.
We'll choose a subreddit that we like.
A subreddit, because there's like thousands of them.
Right.
Millions, maybe.
Right.
So what's our subreddit this week?
It's Ask Historians. So Ask Historians is a subreddit that is heavily moderated to make sure that really, that specific questions are being asked, and that also in the comments that you're not speaking in biases, or you're not talking about just assumptions. You're actually backing it up with facts and scholarly sort of ideas. So the idea is that if you really need to know something that you haven't understood in history, you can go and ask a real historian or ask Reddit, and the best of the best will rise to the top. And so of course you're going to get really, really great discussions. Why did Ethiopia adopt Christianity so much earlier than the surrounding countries?
So this is a little bit more. This goes beyond someone saying, "Here, let me Google that for you, dummy."
Right, totally.
Because you're like, it's not as though I'm looking for a specific fact or date.
Right.
I'm asking somebody who understands this concept, like a professor.
Right.
To say, all right, Sarah, here's why Ethiopia is different than some of the surrounding countries in Africa because of some, migration or that sort of thing. That's really cool. For example, one of the examples is it true that Roman engineers were made to stand underneath the bridge they designed when the armies marched over it? Well, we're not going to read the entire answer, but it's like not only is there an answer from a historian, but then you've got 83 more comments from other people who are chiming in and saying, oh, that's so, it's very interesting.
Right.
Here was my theory, or here's a follow-up question that I have. So this is, it's sort of a place where I would say Reddit is not all fun and games. It's actually really, really interesting.
And as someone who just
historical knowledge,
who loves digesting facts and actually getting the right answers, having this on my front page is you'll see a question and you're like, oh. It's just I want to get the most definitive answer. Speculation is basically banned from this subreddit. It's asking for actual hard facts.
That's a nice thing about a subreddit is for anybody who wants to run their own as a moderator, you can kind of say, listen, these are the rules that I'm making. Ask Historians is a subreddit where it's all about people who actually know what they're talking about. So if there's anything that's deemed speculative or just not correct, it's not staying here. So that's also depends on the people that are moderating it, but that's a mark of a good subreddit. You got some rules, you're sticking to them.
Right. Do we want to cover one more? Like, did Pearl Harbor have the same effect on Americans' perception of security as 9/11 did? And they mentioned sort of. It certainly put some American citizens in the mind that the Japanese were the other, just like many Americans did regarding Muslims in the days and months until today, really, after 9/11. And I just love the factual nature of this subreddit. So, yeah.
I like it too. All right, moving on. We have so many little topics to cover in the show. Great moments in Reddit history. We should have going forward some sort of
moments in Reddit history.
Something like that sort of thing. So tell me about this, Chad. Orange versus periwinkle.
Orange red versus periwinkle.
Orange red versus periwinkle.
Orange red versus periwinkle was a April Fool's joke that was pulled not this April Fool's, but the April Fool's before.
Okay.
So basically almost exactly a year ago. And the idea behind it was what Reddit did was they decided there were two teams, orange, red, and periwinkle, which are the colors of upvotes and downvotes whenever you choose one or the other. And so you'd have the orange-red team versus the periwinkle team, and they would fight against each other. And they had, of course, their own subreddit, say the r/periwinkle, r/orange-red, and battles were fought all over the subreddit, basically creating two different groups for a day on Reddit that would fight against each other to maintain domination of all of Reddit.
So it wasn't so much a joke, it was just a really fun game to play for a 24-hour period.
Right, exactly.
So did you participate?
I didn't participate. I basically on April 1st, I just ignore the internet for the day.
I'm a Scrooge about that too.
Right, exactly. So it wasn't long before the comment section was basically unreadable for everyone, and there is a really great explanation on the Explain It IAMA. So explain it like I ignored Reddit for the past 24 hours. Which is hilarious. I also love the Explain It Like I'm 5 subreddit. It's a really great one. So really great detailed TLDR. Everyone was assigned a side. Stuff got serious. Downvotes were sent. And there were weapons. Orange Red won. The end.
Good.
Yeah.
Orange Red.
Orange Red. Reign victorious. Of course, the upvote is always more powerful than the downvote.
How specific it was. Orange red versus periwinkle.
Well, that's the exact color of the upvote.
Okay.
Here.
No, I
Right, I know you know, but yeah, here. So we'll upvote something. Minecraft RPG. Upvote. Orange red. It
looks orange to me, but what do I know? What do I know? No, it's good.
Check it. Yeah.
It's good. I've always liked periwinkle. All right, let's go on to the awe of the week. I can tell this is going to be my favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
This one submitted by Ill-Informed Jellyfish, and it is titled, "Have you hugged your chicken today?"
This might. I didn't know chickens could be so cute. Here's a little kid. We're kind of getting the best part of it there. He comes in, he puts his little head on his shoulder.
It really does look like the chicken wants to do that.
I know.
Do you think the chicken was just like, oh, you're going to feed me, and oh, I just got too close,
what's
and now
going
I'm
on?
stuck?
No, it's funny. Is it Noah Glass from NPR? Ira Glass. There you go. Who's Noah Glass?
I don't know.
I don't know. Ira Glass, he talked about on a talk show about how he was doing an article on chickens and how there was this lady that kept emailing him saying chickens have like a mind of their own and they're a lot like like every pet that you would have, like a cat or a dog.
Oh.
You just don't know. And so he finally decided.
Household creatures?
Right, they're household creatures. So he said, well, I finally am going to go talk to this lady and find out. And she was like, well, that one's, little, spotty or whatever. And they had names and they all had different personalities. And he says he now doesn't eat chickens because of it, because of how intelligent the chickens were. So possibly this chicken really did want a hug.
Well, I need to hug a chicken, and then I will stop eating chicken because I should.
Just look at how
because
cute
it's so
is.
Cute.
Yeah.
I always wanted a chicken coop in the backyard. I don't have one currently. I live in basically a, concrete jungle. But one day,
we raised chickens once.
Did you?
Yeah, we had 2 chickens. Then once I got too big for our backyard, we gave them to our grandma who lives out in the country.
Cool story, bro.
Then I found $10.
All right, let's move on to Ask Reddit Ask Reddit / Ask the Host.
Right.
Now this okay. So
Ask Reddit is
right.
by far one of my favorite subreddits.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to make sure that everything that we cover is safe for work because sometimes there's a lot of questions that you can't show off on a show of this nature. The idea is that you pose a question to Reddit and all of Reddit gets to answer. Obviously, magic is going to happen. So what is the dumbest question you've been asked where the person was asking was dead serious?
Okay, so this is the one of the dumbest questions.
Right.
But the person didn't realize it.
Right.
We weren't both in on the joke.
Right now, the top voted is this girl at my school asked, very serious, could you imagine if bears were real? Like, that would be totally scary. Yeah, that's pretty good. At dinner, do people really eat birds? As she ordered a chicken.
There's another one. When Alpha John X, this is his story, was a sophomore. Apparently a girl asked him, how do you spell orange? And he spelled it, and she said, no, not the fruit, the color.
Yeah.
You really do like this,
That
don't
was
you?
good.
That
I
was
love this
It's
subreddit.
like dumb laughs all around.
It's my favorite subreddit.
Captain Unfriendly had a roommate who asked, if you leave toast out for long enough, will it turn back into bread? I wish it would.
No. I mean, I remember this. I'm going to tattle on myself. This isn't something that someone told me, but I was sitting around and I was like, we were eating taquitos, and I said, do you think that tostadas is Spanish for taquitos?
You just said 3 different things, but I understand.
But it was also like,
yeah.
I don't even remember if I said tostadas. I remember that I said 2 Spanish words, and it was like, wait a second, both of those words are Spanish.
You're just
Probably
like, they
wasn't
seem
tostadas.
similar.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some sort of a translation thing going on.
Yeah.
Oh, Chad.
I know.
I've said lots of stupid things, and I will continue to. That's just, human nature. But good stuff. So that's Ask Reddit. Now, part of this is we figure if, we're all being fair, since it's sort of, this is the show, it's almost like, there's almost an Ask Me Anything nature to us being on this show right now.
Right.
We're wanting to participate,
Right.
so we thought we could use this going forward in the future for people who are watching the show, fans of RedditUp, audience members, to ask us anything.
Right.
And I guess mine would be AMAA.
AMAA. Almost anything.
Almost.
There's a few things I don't.
There's probably something that I'd be
Right.
like, can I not answer
Please
that?
not answer
but
that.
for the most part, we'll try to be good sports.
The dumbest thing that anyone has ever asked someone, here's another one, is how long have you had your birthmark?
Oh, God. That's a tough one.
Are you sure?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Yikes.
Yeah, and then I already did the Bears were real one.
All right, so that's the idea. You will ask us questions going forward because we don't have any right now, so that wouldn't work anyway.
Right.
We would just be making them up, and that would be silly.
Right.
Okay, moving on to this is another little bit of Reddit 101.
Yeah, Reddit 101.
Reddit?
I did say Reddit, but I didn't mean Reddit.
Well, but it's
Reddit's something different. We could cover Reddit later.
Sure, in a future show. This is TILs. Now, I will go ahead and say this is absolutely true that I know that TIL means today I learned. But I didn't know that until, I would say, literally like a month ago. I saw it all over the place.
My first thing was like, that day that you learned that, it was TIL.
Right,
like,
TIL.
You should have posted something. You should have done something. Yeah.
I know. I think someone's probably made that joke 100 million times.
I know.
I'll do a Twitter search and it'll be but yes, that's what it means. And it's a nice way to, it's kind of like you're making some sort of a declarative statement, but it is something that you learned just now because we're always learning things all the time. You're going to learn something from that historical subreddit, for example. But TIL is a big part of Twitter information and trivia. Right.
So we'll pull our favorite TILs from Reddit and kind of do a quick fire segment.
Ooh, okay. All right.
You say one, I'll say one. How about that?
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
TIL. Colorado switched mile marker 420 to 419.99 in order to stop people from stealing it.
TIL, during photosynthesis, plants emit light humans can't see, but NASA can see that light from space, and they've made maps.
TIL, in the year 2000, Pope John Paul II gave his blessing to the Pokemon franchise, saying the games did not have any harmful moral side effects and were based on ties of intense friendship.
TIL, Keanu Reeves gave $75 million of his Matrix sequel paycheck to the film's special effects department and bought the entire crew of stunt guys Harley-Davidson motorcycles.
TIL, the man who invented Frisbee, was cremated after he died and made into a Frisbee.
That's so gross. TIL. Dick Bong is the U.S.'s... Did I say that wrong?
No, I just can tell you're about to screw this one up.
Yeah, I know. It's really long. Is the U.S.'s highest air ace, shooting down at least 40 planes during World War II. He actually collided with one plane, claiming a probable victory. In 1945, he became a Lockheed test pilot and died in a crash of a P-80 jet. Fighters on the same day that the bomb was dropped on Hiroshima.
TIL, there's never been a single recorded event where an ostrich has buried his head in the ground when threatened.
What?
Which is apparently something that we all learned ostriches do. Try to find it because TIL...
Well, does it say just not a single recorded event, or does it never happen ever?
If it doesn't get recorded...
Just doesn't ever do it?
If it doesn't get recorded, does it happen?
That
if
blew
an
my
ostrich
mind.
buries his head in a forest... Does it really
and no one is there
buried?
to see it? Does he really bury his head?
You know, those ostrich forests.
Golly.
People don't go in there. We don't know. But no recorded event.
Recording those forests.
If you can find one, we'll call it fake.
Great.
And that's
it for our show.
Pretty much it for this edition of Reddit Up. This was fun.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it.
There's a lot of segments, a lot of different...
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
This was a lot longer than...
I expected. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think.
It's a long show.
Head over to r/RedditUp, and I already have one thread up of the live event, and I'll just edit that to be about the recorded event.
Yeah,
later.
we'll get an email address going to where people can respond to us.
RedditUp at twit.tv.
Oh, just kidding. There already is one. RedditUp at twit.tv.
We are too organized for this show, for our own good. We should really post it to the RedditUp subreddit, which is what we're going to do.
Yeah. So this is, I think, the purpose of the show was to give everyone a sort of an opportunity to see what we're thinking. I think it'll probably be a little shorter.
Yeah, I think
going
so.
forward. We can we sort of proof of concept on some of the stuff, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty fun. So
cool.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah.
Chad and I will do this again as soon as possible. We'll let you know on the schedule when time allows. Because right now, this isn't necessarily going to be the time of day that we shoot the show live. It's just what we're doing right now for testing purposes. So,
right.
So enjoy yourselves. See you soon.
See you on Reddit. Bye.
Bye.